Good morning, everyone. I'm Carol, and this is my quiet corner. I decided to come on. I had it scheduled for 8:30, and I didn't know if I was going to get done walking the dogs in time. So I got everything I needed to get done this morning. So here I am. It is now 8 a.m. Mountain Time, and welcome. And I'd like to thank, before we start, I'd like to thank all of the new subscribers. I appreciate your support and my continued support from my longtime friends and streamers and subscribers as well. Um, Today is the beginning of our 2025 Stitch Journal. So I thought, following along with Sharon Bog and Take a Stitch Tuesday, which I will put the link in the description box after, I will make sure that's there this time because I think I forgot. Good morning, Marty. I'm just trying to get everything organized here this morning because I thought, oh, I just come on early. Anyway, good morning, Zenjen. You're looking forward to the journey with me. I'm glad. Oh, you'll learn. It's easy. We're going to take old stitches, combine them with new stitches, create new stitches, and just have fun. That's where we are. We are going to have fun. I did a little bit of prep beforehand with my material. And if you remember, I had a tablecloth. Well, I tore it into strips. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the edges just yet, but I am going to just try to decide whether or not I want what lengths I want. Now, my old scrolls, I ended up doing because it got so much when you do this, it got to be so much with it being so long. So as I started going, I decided I'm not going to do long strips. I'm going to take and do smaller strips and then join them and then continue on. So what I think I'm going to do is find the one that I thought was most comfortable length. Even though this is one big long sheet, for stitching purposes, it's easier than trying to wrangle this long tail at the end of my needle. So I think I like this length. So what I'm going to do is cut it approximately there. And after that, I will probably do the same all the way through. And I'm just going to tear it if it tears. And all these strings, like, oh my goodness, I might have to do something with that, but at this point, good morning, Anne. Hi, Sandra. It's nice to see you. I hope everybody's ready. I'm just going to give a little bit of ideas before we start. So the length, and my length that I've chosen in inches is 6.5. All right, Anne, 6.5 by 12. I think that's perfect. And it doesn't have to be, you know, exactly. Do what's comfortable for you. Find a piece of material, and that's where you're going to start. Now, if by chance you've acquired some blocks, or you have some blocks, or you want to make some blocks between the scroll, this, and whatever else we decide to stitch on, we're going to do it all. It's a journey. We're not here to rush into one thing. We're going to hop around and have fun. So I had acquired these at a sale, and some of them I've trimmed off, which I might incorporate into my scroll, or I am going to do some stitching on them. Randomness. See, these are old. I don't know the origin of where they came, like long time ago, but somebody took the time to create these squares. So what I'm going to do with these patches, squares, whatever you want to do, I'm going to do crazy quilting on them. And I'm also going to be working on my scroll because my scroll is going to tell the story of my journey. Now you can do this on a full sheet. You can piece your squares and tell your journey on the whole thing, or you can just have a plain sheet of material, a shirt you cut up, a sheet, whatever. It really doesn't matter where you're going to take it. You can even, if you wanted to, you could even do miniature journeys. You could take and create crazy quilt hearts. Now this was an older one. This is probably around the same time as the other before the square that I've showed last time. But this is some of the things we're going to do. We're going to have some fun. And this is on wool. So even if you wanted to do some wool pennies, and this was just doing tiny little buttons to learn the different stitches and styles that was in the pattern, we can do some of them too. We're going to incorporate the different things into our journey onto our quilt blocks or wherever you want to stitch. This journey is yours. I'm going to show you my journey. I will show you the stitches I'm using. I'm going to show you the combination of stitches I'm using. And from that point, you take it and run with it. You have the fun on your own material, your own threads. Whatever you have available to you is what you're going to use. You don't have to go get anything fancy. You don't have to do anything else like that. So that's where we're going to start. Ah, thanks, Marty. Yeah, that one came out pretty cool. It's a really nice heart. It's like got all kinds of fuzzies on it right now, but yeah, it's really nice. And so look forward to doing a variety of different things. Now, next week, I think next week is the third weekend. Let me just look here and see. Um. Come on. I need a new tab. New tab. 2025 calendar. Oops. 2025 calendar. Search. And today is the 10th. So in 2 weeks on the 24th, you know what? No, let's make it the 31st. Let's make it the last day of the month. Let's make it the Friday, the 31st. I will post a notification for each of my Fridays, but on the 31st, we're going to have the giveaway. I think that works out fine. So that's when we're going to do that. You must be subscribed beforehand. You must be present in the live, and um, you won't be able to get in if you are not subscribed beforehand. So that is a requirement. And I'm in the process of finishing up what's going to be in the giveaway, but I will post it on my community tab beforehand. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. First off, good morning, Pam. First off, I want to put the month because that's kind of important. And doing the month, I'm going to use and do the double running stitch, and I'm going to do the anew running stitch. And this, you can find these on Sharon Boggin's website, pentangle.com, as well as her Take a Stitch Tuesdays Facebook group, which I do belong to. Now, There's a couple of things that I want to do on here, but this is going I was just playing here. I am going to put this over that because I find it a little bit much, but it's nice in a background. So I'm going to use this piece of lace to um, kind of camouflage it, kind of camouflage it. Now, what else am I going to do here? I need to cut a 6-inch piece of this because I want to use this as my backing, and it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to either finish edges or leave them uh, frayed, which then you would probably do a small running stitch along the edge so it doesn't continue to fray. All right, let's get that out of the way. Now I have, this is just cheesecloth. This is a food grade cheesecloth that I'm going to use as a backing. Now, normally, as you've seen, I don't usually use backings, but this material, the tablecloth, is thinner than I used before. So, with your discretion, depending on your um, material, whether it's a thick or a thin material, is whether or not you want to use a backing. But I am going to add a backing because I have a very thin old material that I'm using. I'll just throw that out of the way and fill the desk up because why not? Why not? So let's put this down here. Now, if you want, you can do the blind stitch, the hidden tacking stitch, whatever you would like to call it. You can do that, or you can just start because I think it's going to stay pretty well. I think I will just start. Now, the edge of my tablecloth is already hemmed here, so I'm debating on that, whether or not I want to come to the edge of the cheesecloth because it is also a finished edge, and I think I will. I think I'll bring it right up to the end and match my finished edges, and then just press them together. I did not iron my material. It's going to get well loved, so we're just going to go with it. Now, the next thing is you want to put your date, your year, um, your name, and the month. That is where we're going to start. The same as we had did long time ago, but those videos are no longer available, so we're starting fresh. Fresh new beginnings, a new stitch journey. Now I am going to use a pen so you can see it. Sometimes I use a pen, sometimes I use uh the Freon, Frixon, whatever you want to call them. You can use pencil, you can use water soluble, whatever your choice is. I think I'm going to have my 2025 go this way and my January go this way. Jen, that's great. This is basically a beginning, but it's going to I'm going to show you beginning and then I will show you a more complicated version of a stitch and then you decide what you like. If you don't like to do the more complicated one, then that's fine. We're just going to take it a little bit at a time and just work with it. Now, to put your um, lettering on, you're welcome to print it out and use a tracing paper so you can put your letters on. You can do that. You can stamp them on. What else can you do? You can just write them on. I'm just going to write them on because I want it in my handwriting. So with for my kids, that will mean more than if I just, printed or stamped or traced. So let's see. I do want to have it straight though. What have I got that's straight? This'll do. This is small. And remember to leave yourself an edge for if you decide to hem it. If not, you have that option of going back in and doing a border stitch. So I'm going to take and mark this with a pencil because I want to leave a border. Let's see if I have any lead in my pencil. Ah, thanks, Marty. And I'm going to use this as my line. Now, I will continue using this throughout the whole stitching process until you think your scroll is either done or your project is done, whatever you're working on. You can cut it, you can even get packs of the 5-inch squares, work on squares, and then turn it into a quilt, turn it into a bag. I'm not here to, at this point, teach you a project. We're just going to have our stitch journey, which is your life, putting your life in stitches on whatever fabric that is of your choice. So what I'm going to do, since I've torn my material, I know that that edge is straight. It should be straight. I'm not promising it's going to be straight, but it should be straight. So I'm going to continue that all along my top and my bottom. Now, the other thing you could do is if you're going to leave it frayed and just do a small stitch along the edge, you can take this and turn this into your miniature icons of special things that happen throughout your day. And I showed you that in my scroll here. I left this along the top to keep track of either weather, puppy dog's birthdays, relax day, just simple things across the top that you like. Here's TAST chain stitch. So barred detached. So I was doing my TAST take a stitch Tuesday stitches on my scroll. But you can, RX. I went and got doctor's meds and stuff. It rained. Couching stitches. Like you can create a little journal along the way. Yes, that was Luna and Storm and Loca and but then at the end I decided I didn't want to do that anymore and I just started putting things in and amongst here. So it doesn't matter whatever you choose to like to do, you can do. I'm leaving the option open because I'm deciding if I want to do the journal along the top and then just use this for creating scenery. So we'll see how that goes. That's an after option or an as you go option because I don't I don't want to commit to it right now, but it does give you the option of hemming or stitching. And I'm going to do that on the top and the bottom. And this is prep work. Like for anything that you're going to do, you're going to have your little bits of prep work before you even get to stitching. Whether you're dyeing your fabrics or rusting your fabrics, I will never rust my fabrics. That's just me. To those who like to, that's great. I prefer to have not worry about whether or not it's going to last because these will become heirlooms. at the end when you're done. Like I said, I'm going to be stitching on multiple things, incorporating all the different stitches. It won't just be on my scroll, but you will get to see what we're stitching on and then how my scroll is advancing, how my squares are advancing. And in between all of my Fridays, I've decided that I will only go live on a Friday. And during the rest of the month, I'm going to pop up bonus videos. So if I'm doing some stitching, I'm going to turn the camera on so you can see a little bit of what I'm doing rather than waiting for a Friday and then show you the finalized thing on a Friday. So that's the other thing. Are you interested in bonus videos? Let me know in the comments. I will gladly answer, and I do answer all of my comments. So now I want to do 2025, and I think 2025 is going to be. I'm going to use my pencil for the line because I can get rid of the pencil. And I'm going to do it extra light. It's there, but it's not super bad. Now, the other thing is, right, and I'm sorry if I sniff or if I sneeze or if I start sounding really funny because I have had no allergy meds and I have to go with no allergy meds for a week. So by the 13th, I'm hoping to be able to get back into schedule because I'm going to see an allergist again, and um, hopefully that they can figure something out with what's going on because it's been way too long. Yes, do check out Take a Stitch Tuesday, and like I said, it's pintangle.com and also Take a Stitch Tuesday on Facebook group. You will see such amazing things. Sharon Boggin is amazing, and she also has some books out too. So you can check those out. Now, I'm going to go to my pen, and if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. That's all there is to it. But I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So, halfway is here, eyeballing. Well, maybe I think I'll move it over a little and go between here and here because if I decide to hem, I'm going to need that half inch to turn in. So that's what I'm looking at is about a half inch. This is a little more than a half inch. You can do that as an inch or more if you prefer. So you can do your journal up there, or if you prefer to do your stitching. So I'm going to go between here and here and find the center, and I'm going to make my 25. I am not pressing hard right at this point because I want to see how it's going to go. Okay, I think I've got where I want it to go, and if my pen will write, that would be great. There we go. So let's make our 5. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, 20. And I'm just going to do this kind of a 2. That doesn't look too bad. So now we do our 0 on the other side. And I'm trying to keep them approximately the same width as I'm going, which is important. Now let's see if I can make another 2 here. There we go. We did it. We did it. We got to 2025. And like I said, you can take and use whatever you want to use. You whether you are using a pen, if it's just for practice, you can use whatever you like, as long as it's not a water soluble pen. Because if you wash it, or I mean a permanent pen, and you make a mistake, it's not going to come out. So you prefer to have something that will wash out. Okay, now I want to do my January. So I'm got to stay between here and here for my January. I wonder if I scoop a piece of paper. Where do I have some paper? Oh, over there. And see, for practice, we will eventually get to stitching, but I need to know and put my pattern down before we start. So I know uh, let's see, approximately. So I want to have that coming down in the middle of the 2025. So I'm going to start. And I'm sorry if I get quiet, because you're seeing this as I'm doing it. Well, it's not perfect, but it will do. It will do. Now you get to decide, what colors do you want to use? What colors do you want to use? I'm going to get myself a chenille needle out. It's a size 22 to start with. I could have grabbed one that's already out, but this is so much easier. And I think I am going to do black and white. I gotta find my black and white wherever it is in my containers. Whatever I've done with them all. Hopefully it's not over there. Blues, purples, yellows, browns, reds, pinks, greens, blacks, whites. I think I'm going to do mine in black and white, or similar. Black, oh, maybe black and isn't it bad when you open up your threads and it's like, what am I going to use? What color? I think I'm going to go with a bluey gray. So I'm going to start with my black, and I'm going to use 3 strands. And that way it's not overly heavy to do the second run of, and try to keep your threads, most people say from here to your elbow. It's about right. That way nothing gets tangled. So, running stitch, like I said, you can pin this together so it doesn't flop, and I think I will just go in and out a couple times with my needle and have it sit there just so it doesn't come apart. But you can tack it down. For time's sake, I'm not going to. I'm just going to start. Now I'm coming up through the back and I did knot. You don't have to knot. You can do little stitches in between and then continue on. But I'm going to do the running stitch, and you want to, this needle feels very, very dull. I think I'm going to get another one. Oh, that's better. Let me just get another needle here. All right. Now, that's better. I can tell the difference already. So you kind of want to keep them even. Hi, Kim. And work through. Like I said, we're doing a double running stitch. This is a single running stitch. The next one will be a double running stitch. It's called a double running stitch when you put the two together. So if you want to use a hoop, feel free. I am one that prefers not to. Just don't pull tight if you are not using a hoop. So I'm going to show you how to do this. It's very easy. It's just going in and out. It's a very simple running stitch up and down. And I'm following my line, trying to get them, oops, unthreaded my needle, trying to get them even enough. Thread my needle again. This is what happens with unedited videos. So has everybody decided what they're going to use for their stitching? Have you picked something? You can also stitch on an existing project. You don't have to create something new. You can take, and if you have a blanket, a shirt, a pair of pants, you can practice your stitching on anything. Hi, Gail. I was, and I got done puppying early enough. I didn't have to do the long walk. So now I could continue on and go to the next number, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it off my needle and let it back there. And I'm going to, so I can actually show you the double running stitch to move on. And then what I'm going to do is let that for you, and I'll finish off camera so you don't have to sit here and watch me stitch the whole time. I'm trying to get the threads, 3 threads separated here. Ugh, I hate when that happens. Oh, come on. And I'm sorry for the sniffing. I really am. I do it unintentionally because it's just not, like I said, no meds. I'd like to welcome everybody and welcome those that are up in the balcony. Hello in the quiet corner up there. Now, make sure your thread is out of the way. So I'm going to pull it off to the side here so it's not there. And I'm going to come over here again and I'm going to come up right at the end of that first stitch. And this blue kind of matches the blue that's in the tablecloth. So it'll be interesting to see. Do I need to zoom in a little more? Let me just see how the zooming works here. Don't mind the fingers. They're very dry. My nails are breaking, everything is going on. So anyways, you come up at the end of the one and you go down and you come up again at the other side of the other stitch and you fill in. That's called a double running stitch. So now I'll go down at the tip of this one. Pull it down. Come up again at the end. Sometimes that can be hard. Sometimes that can be hard. And you just finish that out doing the double running stitch. We're not here for perfection, Gail. Mine are not perfect either by any means, but I enjoy the look of it anyway. You can take your time and do one stitch at a time. Almost pulled it out again. Or if you want to and you're really good at doing multiple stitches, feel free. Yes, it's exactly it. The perfectly imperfect. And we just continue around. And I will complete the rest of 2025 offline. Marty, yeah, our snow is melting. Oh, I am so happy it's melting because right now we have like, I'm pretty sure there's at least 6 to 8 inches of ice behind the house on the road because they don't plow in the communities. They just put dirt down. So I have to put on cleats on my boots so I can walk the dogs. It's really, really icy. Yeah, they don't plow the streets at all. They just put the sand and dirt down and all right. So there is our double running stitch. Oh yeah, it can be rough. Exactly. I've got the smaller version cleats. I have the big version cleats for when we go out on the ice it on the lakes when we go to the mountains. But for here, I just have the little smaller ones that's only in the front of your shoe. So anyway, there's my double running stitch. And now I'm going to move on because you can go back if you need to see how that's done to complete your 2025. And again, I do apologize for my sniffing. It's inevitable. So now my January. I'm not sure what I want to do with the January. Do I want to do the same kind of two-tone or do I want to keep it plain? Because when I move over here, I want to do that other stitch. So that other stitch will be holding down this. And I think it would look really nice running along there because it's almost almost like a vine. Now talking about the running stitches, since we've done this one, I went and I looked in my stitch book. And hi, Deborah. And do you know that there's all kinds of running stitches? And I'm going to try and not have a glare. Let me just zoom out just a bit. We're taking a little learning session here. Just want to get the book in. Here's what we did. We did this running stitch. But there's a whipped running stitch, there's a laced running stitch, an interlaced running stitch. There's so many that you could take this one step further. And this is what we're doing. We're taking our stitching one step further. We're taking the plain stitch and we're going to make something more. And let me see, is a double running stitch is also called the Holbein stitch. And that's what we just did. There's also what they call the darning stitch, which is almost like sashiko or something, to fill in. It's kind of a fill in. So, and then there's the designs. So there is so many different things that you can pick and choose. And then I was like, oh, what else is there? So back here, yeah, I used the thread to Marty. So this is the threaded running stitch here. And this is a stepped one where you're going in and out and your running stitch is opposite. There's so many neat things that we can incorporate in this week while you're playing on your material and you're doing your stitching. Go through and try out the different styles of the running stitch because next Tuesday, Take a Stitch Tuesday comes out with a new stitch. So this is her first stitch, the running stitch. This is the book it's in. It's I don't know if it's even available anymore. My mom sent me this like eons ago and it's falling apart. It's falling apart. Anyway, the stitch that I want to do for these, I was going to do the anew stitch. Now I'm trying to decide, do I want my scallop going this way or that way? But I guess I'll decide that after because we need to do January and I'm trying to debate on January. I think I'm going to keep my January plain since we've did the new uh, double running stitch here. I think I'm going to go plain here. And January, because I think I'm going to keep it black. I think I'm going to keep it black. Now I'm going to just try to get my threads up this way so I don't stitch them in. And I'm going to leave them on the 3 strand. Yeah, that's an old book. That's like I said, it was my mom's and then she gave it to me and it's like, oh. So with this, I think I'm going to do a back stitch, a wrapped back stitch because I want it to stand out. So we're going to be doing the back stitch and then wrapping it. Now, with wrapping it, you can either wrap it with the same color, you can pick a different color, and that will give you a candy cane effect if you use a different color. So I'm going to start here because I'm going to work this way and take my first stitch and come up, and then I'm going to go back and come up. So I'm going to go in at the end and just nip that first stitch and come up on the other side of where my thread is coming up, the same distance, approximately, perfectly imperfect stitches. So we're going to do that across. And you're going to follow your pen marking the best you can and go down. Like I said, it does not have to be perfect. Now I want to get these threads out of the way so I don't stitch them. And you can put these in a hoop. Feel free to use a hoop or the wood ones where you put the tacks in. That works just great. I've been debating on using those so I could have the two hands to be free and not in my hands, not in your face. But if it comes to a point you can't see, please do let me know. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take that first stitch. We're going to come down and back up all the way around. Same distance. Sometimes when you go around the curves, you want to take smaller stitches because it makes it curve easier. It gives it a smoother transition. I said, I'm not being very perfect here, so I am doing this because I want to enjoy it, not because I have to. Now, here's where your choice comes in. Do you go back and use the same color? Or do you take a different color and make it a candy cane effect? What am I going to do? I think I'm going to keep my months all one color and my year just the running stitch. So I'm going to come back up just at the edge, not where I went down, but just next to, come up. And now we're going to wrap. And you see what I mean about not having a really huge piece of material because it gets to a point where you're flipping and flopping it around and turning because it's just easier to manipulate when you don't have a big piece. Oh, Kim, that's awesome. She says she has her grandma's big book of needlecraft from 1935. You'll have to show that sometime. That would be really great. I'd be interested in seeing that. All right, now we are going to wrap, and we are not going into the material. We are just going under the thread, under the stitch that you created. And we're going to always go in from the same direction. And this is going to give your back stitch a nicer, in my opinion, a nicer look. And remember, if you are not using a hoop, try to keep your tension just gentle, not too tight. Don't pull really tight. Now, because I came to the T portion, I'm going to go down right at that last stitch and come up at the beginning of the top of the J at there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going under the stitches. So for those of you that are beginners, just take your time. Just take your time. So that was a yes on the bonus videos. They will just be videos, they will not be lives. I will come on and I will either just stitch and would you prefer me talking or music? What's your choice? That's another option. Let me know in the comments. Now I'm going to end this one here because I don't want to have to carry the threads. Like you can carry the threads down to the next letter, but I am just going to leave it as that. So there we are. My handwriting, our running stitch, our whipped back stitch. All right. It's called slow stitching for a reason. Yes, embroidery, slow stitching, stitching, whatever you want to call it, we're just having fun. So everybody wants me to talk on my videos, okay? Just making sure because, some people would rather just see what you're doing and not have to move on. Now, I'm not going to finish this here. I'm going to let that up to you to take your week and just enjoy your stitching, whether you do the double running stitch or not, that is totally up to you. This is your journey as well as this is my journey. I am showing you what I am doing. If you prefer a different stitch on your stitch journey, then feel free to use a different stitch. We do not have stitch police here. If you don't like this stitch, feel free to do something else. You could use a chain stitch, a small chain stitch would look really nice there as well. It's up to you. We're not here to have hard, fast rules. I'm here to show you different little things of what I'm doing and share my stitch journey with you. And I would love to see um, what you do on yours. Here's another option. Here's another option. Thank you, Deborah. I have my email in my about page on my YouTube. Would you like to see the last day of the month pictures of what other people have been doing that I could show on YouTube? Would you want to send me pictures in my email and have them out so I can show them on or would you prefer posting in a group? That is your option, or I could do a Facebook page and you could post on the Facebook page. That's another thing. These are the things that have been going through my mind, so I thought I would put it out there. All right, let's move on. I'm going to oh, the other thing is the length of the videos is the other thing I was going to ask you. You're not good about doing what you're post. Oh my gosh, Gail. Yes, I know. I always post. I post on Instagram too. I post on Instagram too. So now, the length of the videos. Hi, Anne. Welcome back. Do you like an hour, half hour? Marty. Marty says she'd love to prove how awesome my work is by sharing mine. Oh my gosh. Marty, I'm sure yours is just fine. Oh, that's sad. You're better with an hour? That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah. Yeah, it gets to be a bit much after it's been too long. So, with that being said, what if we leave it there for now? And we did the double running. We did a whipped back stitch, and we'll continue on. And I'll do bonus videos throughout the month and upload. And I think that would make everybody happy. My bonus videos will only be like 15 minutes. So if that's good with everybody, I really appreciate that. So with that, I'm going to leave you with the double running and a whipped back stitch. And I'm going to say thank you all for showing up today. I really appreciate it. And I will also show you as I'm on bonus videos what else I'm working on. And we will continue with that. So, everyone, you have a wonderful day today. And I will see you next Friday for the live. And oh, Jen, you're going to do just fine. And don't forget, you must be subscribed. Um, like the video, leave comments, and maybe we'll work something out for those who can't make the live. Maybe we'll have a special, if you leave a comment under that video, maybe we'll do a special giveaway for that. So, everyone, have a great day. And from my quiet corner to yours, enjoy your stitching. Bye bye.